What's going on, guys? Big no checking in. Don't mind me being shirtless. I just happen to be shirtless, but I'm gonna keep my titties out of the picture so we can keep this focused on the content. I hope. We'll see. I want to talk about what every depressed, anxious, and depersonalized person needs in their life when they are going through a depression. Now, I think you could say or argue that this is something everyone needs in their life, but when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're actively depersonalized, in the midst of your condition, your disorder, whatever, your illness, if you want to call it that, which I suppose is fair, we need structure. We need structure. Bad. And structure, especially when you get older, it's one of those things you sort of want when you want it, or you impose it or you implement it into your life when you see necessary or to whatever extent suits you. But when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're depersonalized, which is like being trapped in a foggy, dreamlike state, to put it really mildly, or really, to put it quickly, structure will save your life. Because the one thing that I've always found in my time struggling and battling with severe depression, anxiety, and depersonalization, the thing that hurts the most is downtime. Time where there is no structure, time where you're idle, where you're not doing anything. And I think when I look back and recall how I felt stable, how I felt prior to being in the midst of depression and anxiety so frequently, apart from when it was severe, downtime was like my shit. I love downtime. I love doing nothing. I love planning days where I could just do nothing. And I think that mindset was just like buried in me, that I want to have days where I do nothing. But that doesn't really transition or translate over to when you're depressed and anxious. You just cannot leave yourself vulnerable to nothing days. So it really falls into like the category of what you need versus what you want. Because I still struggle with my mood, although it's far more tolerable. I have some spikes in anxiety now more often than I have like spikes in depression. But either way, I still want to have where was I going with that? I still like the idea of having days off, or not doing anything, I work full time. I'm blessed to be stable enough to be able to work full time. And even now, if I don't have something going on in my day, something that gets me out of the house, that, gets my mind in the right place, I can still start to spiral, and I can still start to go down some stairs I don't want to, and go to places I shouldn't go, and I don't necessarily handle alone time the best. Now, I'm not saying you should never be alone, and I'm not saying you should never have nothing time, but I don't want you to underestimate and devalue the power of structure when you're really hurting, when you're really doing poorly. And depending on where you're at and the severity of your condition, that can mean whatever it needs to mean for you. Perhaps structure for you, maybe if you're going through something a bit more mild, and you be the judge of that, of course. Let no man or woman tell you how you are and how you aren't. But if your condition is more mild, maybe your structure is waking up, making your bed every day. You make a nice little breakfast for yourself. You go to work if you have a job, and then you come home and you take 10 minutes of reading when you get home. That's a weird example, but that's your structure, let's say. If you don't have a job, then you make sure that every day you have somewhere to go, someone to meet, a physical activity planned, some meditation time set aside, whatever. That could be your structure. Now, if you're really severe, really severe, then it can go as far as having every single part of your day blocked out in advance. And sit with someone. Ask them to help you. Ask your healthcare provider, your mental health care provider, if you're so lucky to have one, please help me structure my day so that I can get through this and survive this. Because some people are in survival mode. And it's the people that are in survival mode in particular that they need that structure. You gotta fucking have it. You have to. You really do. And I was one of those people. I can't imagine where I would be right now if I didn't have that structure in place for me. It was so regimented because I was severely suicidal, severely anxious, and my life was hanging in the balance. That's so dark. I'm sorry. We're doing better now. Things are going better now. Things can get better for you too if you happen to be really struggling. But the point is, set up a plan for yourself, a daily action plan, a weekly action plan, no matter, and vary it based on how you're actually doing. If you're doing really well, have some extra downtime, have some extra nothing time. But if you're not doing well and you're feeling desperate, find a pattern and a structure for your day and stick to it. and stick to it. It'll save your life. It'll keep you distracted. It'll make you feel like you're still capable of accomplishing things. It'll bring a little bit of self-worth and self-value, because sometimes we're so far removed from feeling any purpose or any self-fulfillment or pride that just having structure and being able to stick to that structure, be it a very simple structure or a more convoluted and complex one, it can give you a sense of dignity. Give you a sense of dignity, like you can still do something, you're still capable of following through with the plan. And if getting out of bed is the hardest thing on earth, then damn it, that's part of your structure, is that the moment you wake up, you roll out of bed. I want to do a separate video on how to get out of bed when you're depressed. But anyway, this sounds really basic, and I understand that. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, yeah, for sure, bro, like structure, cute. I mean, it's the basic shit that you need to care about more than ever right now. And that's something that it took a while to impress that upon me, but once it finally really sank in, I was like, oh my God, these little things that seem obvious but no one does, or very few people take serious, they are like make or break. They are life and death for some people, and for other people they're just quality of life and death. So for whatever that's worth, I'm certainly not trying to be your daddy. I'm not trying to boss you around or preach at you, but I do care. I know depression, I know anxiety, I know DP, so it was a really big thing for me to start just having structure, writing it down, and taking it serious. I hope that some of that rubs off on you. I appreciate you. I care about you. Whatever we're going through, we can get through it 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. Check out the website, healingfromdepression.com. Douglas Block runs the site. He's got great information on how to set up structure in your life, and I'll link that in the description below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. I appreciate you, and take good care, guys. Be brave in whatever it is that you face. Peace.